Up is an animated film known for its heartwarming storytelling, captivating animation, and emotional depth. The movie follows the journey of Carl Fredricksen, a widowed elderly man, as he embarks on an unexpected adventure. The core of the story revolves around Carl's determination to fulfill a promise he made to his late wife, Ellie. Young Carl Fredricksen, a soft-spoken boy adorned with glasses and sporting an aged pilot's cap along with goggles, sits in a theater engrossed by a film reel. This reel vividly portrays his hero, Charles Muntz, a renowned explorer. The narrator lauds Muntz's triumphs and discoveries, yet mentions recent discredit inflicted upon him by scientists who dismissed his latest uncovering a massive bird skeleton as a mere fabrication. Undeterred, Muntz boards his Zeppelin with his loyal team of dogs, vowing to return with living evidence of his discovery. Following the screening, Carl races down the street clutching his balloon, aptly named the Spirit of Adventure, after Muntz's Zeppelin. Along his path, he encounters a time-worn dwelling from which echoes Muntz's famous catchphrase, "Adventure is out there!" Intrigued, Carl enters the house and encounters Ellie, a spirited young woman who shares his fervor for exploration and admiration for Charles Muntz. Initially taken aback by her exuberant demeanor, Carl loses his balloon in the building's rafters. Assisting him is Ellie, who not only retrieves the balloon but also inadvertently causes Carl to fall and fracture his arm. That night, Ellie sneaks into Carl's room, revealing her cherished adventure book. In it, she expresses her dream of reaching the pinnacle of Paradise Falls in South America, showcasing a picture she'd surreptitiously extracted from a library book. She extracts a promise from Carl that they will journey there together one day before departing. A musical montage unfolds, tracing Carl and Ellie's journey from marriage to settling into the very house where they first crossed paths. Their wedded life is joyful. Carl becomes a balloon salesman, while Ellie tends to the zoo animals. When they confront infertility, they resolve to save money for a pilgrimage to Paradise Falls. However, life's demands compel them to dip into their savings over the years. In time, elderly Carl realizes that their once-cherished promise remains unfulfilled. He endeavors to surprise Ellie with tickets to South America, but her health deteriorates, and she eventually passes away, leaving Carl bereft. Carl withdraws from the world, living as a bitter recluse while urbanization burgeons around him. He spars with construction workers and resists relocating to a retirement home. His solitude is broken when he crosses paths with Russell, a young wilderness explorer scout, keen on earning his "assisting the elderly" badge. Carl slyly assigns Russell to a task involving a fictitious creature, but the encounter leads to a mishap that propels Carl into court. Ordered to vacate his home, Carl's response is to send his house airborne by attaching it to millions of helium balloons. As the house soars over the city, Carl's grand adventure begins. Away from the urban hustle, Carl charts a South American course and reclines in his chair until an unexpected knock jolts him upright. Answering the door, he finds Russell hanging precariously, having been engrossed in a snipe search beneath Carl's porch. Inviting him inside, Carl resolves to descend and escort Russell home before an impending storm strikes. Battling turbulent winds, the house is buffeted, yet Carl secures his belongings before drifting into slumber. Morning arrives with Russell rousing him, revealing that they're now above South America. However, a dense fog obscures the ground. Carl releases balloons for a controlled descent, but they touch down prematurely, catapulting them out of the house. Clinging to a hose fastened to the porch, they watch the fog lift, unveiling a high plateau facing Paradise Falls. Unable to re-enter the house, they opt to trek to the falls before the balloons deflate. Meanwhile, deep in the jungle, a chase unfolds. 3 dogs with illuminated red collars trail what seems like a colossal bird, only to lose the scent when Carl's hearing aid's high-frequency hum distracts them. Pausing for a restroom break, Russell stumbles upon a gargantuan bird, enticing it closer with a chocolate bar. He introduces the vivid creature to Carl, christening it Kevin. Accompanying them, Kevin flees upon spotting a man-shaped figure. However, they realize it's a mirage caused by stone overlap. A golden retriever, adorned with a red collar light, approaches. Russell commands him, amazed when the dog responds to his caller's translator. He introduces himself as Doug, a tracker seeking a bird. Kevin tackles Doug. The quartet proceeds, although Carl isn't thrilled by the extra company. Kevin's loud call is answered by smaller ones, and Doug informs them she's a mother. Meanwhile, the trio of dogs, who were earlier in pursuit of the bird, catch the scent of Carl and Russell, dubbing the latter the mailman. Alpha, a Doberman Pinscher, leads the pack, including Beta, a Rottweiler, and Gamma, a Bulldog. Alpha's speech device malfunctions, causing him to speak in a high pitch. Using Gamma's collar device, Alpha contacts Doug, who they sent on a false mission to rid themselves of him. However, they find Doug in the bird's company. They trail him and locate Carl and Russell, but Kevin has vanished. Instead, they choose to take Carl and Russell to their master. Entering a grand gorge, Carl and Russell encounter a pack of dogs wearing advanced collars. Their master is revealed to be none other than the elderly Charles Muntz. Muntz extends an invitation, welcoming them aboard the Spirit of Adventure as guests. However, his demeanor quickly shifts to hostility when he learns that Russell has befriended a new pet bird. Shockingly, Carl witnesses Muntz's descent into madness over the years spent obsessively pursuing the very bird that led to his disgrace. Muntz unveils a chilling display of head mannequins adorned with various headgear. He methodically knocks each one off the table with his cane, recounting tales their wearers supposedly told him. He insists that each of these individuals was actually after his elusive bird. Carl and Russell flee the Zeppelin as Muntz's attention is drawn to the bird's calls emanating from Carl's rooftop. Guided by Kevin and aided by Doug, who now regards Carl as his master, they narrowly elude Muntz's dogs, though Kevin sustains an injury during the escape. Despite the chaos, Carl agrees to ensure Kevin's safe return to her offspring. However, just as Kevin approaches her hidden nest, a net snags her. Muntz arrives with his dogs on the Zeppelin, having tracked them using a device on Doug's collar. Muntz sets fire to Carl's home by throwing a lantern beneath it. While Carl rushes to douse the flames, Muntz takes Kevin on board and departs. Fueled by anger and despair, Carl rebukes Doug and informs Russell that he is determined to carry his home to Paradise Falls, even if it means sacrificing himself. Managing to land his house atop the falls, Carl's decision strains his relationship with Russell due to his abandonment of Kevin. Inside the house, Carl sits down with Ellie's adventure book. Overwhelmed by sadness over Ellie's inability to witness the falls, he nearly closes the book when he discovers additional pictures added towards the end, depicting their life together. On the final page, Ellie's note urges him to embark on a new adventure. Empowered and inspired, Carl witnesses Russell's inventive flight using balloons and a leaf blower. Carl lightens his load by removing excess furniture from the house, allowing it to take flight once more. Following Russell, he finds Doug on his porch and joyfully asserts his role as Doug's master. Although Russell sneaks onto Muntz's Zeppelin, he is captured and restrained. Muntz positions him on the bomb bay doors and activates the release mechanism. Carl intervenes just in time, rescuing Russell and placing him safely inside the house. Within the Zeppelin, Carl and Doug strive to retrieve Kevin. Utilizing a tennis ball from his walker, Carl distracts the guard dogs and successfully frees Kevin. However, a confrontation with Muntz ensues. Engaging in a makeshift sword fight using his extended walker, Carl faces off against Muntz. Meanwhile, Russell, now freed, takes on a squadron of dogs and fighter planes to regain control of the house. He returns to aid Carl, who has ascended the Zeppelin with Kevin. Meanwhile, Doug has outsmarted Alpha, emerging as the new leader, and joins the others on the upper deck. Kevin, Doug, and Carl make a dash for the house, which Russell has managed to land on the wing of the Zeppelin. However, Muntz emerges brandishing a rifle and takes shots at them. The onslaught causes the house to slide and dangle precariously in midair. Carl grapples to secure the house using the hose, while Muntz pursues Kevin. Carl entices Kevin, carrying Doug and Russell, out of the house with chocolate, prompting Muntz to leap out of the window after them. His attempt fails, as his foot becomes entangled in balloon strings, causing him to plummet to his demise. Meanwhile, Kevin, Doug, and Russell return to the Zeppelin, and Carl is compelled to release his house, which slowly descends into the clouds. Carl reconciles with the loss, understanding it as a necessary step. Reunited with her 3 chicks, Kevin finds her progeny, while Carl takes Russell and Doug back home. At Russell's senior explorer ceremony, when his father neglects to present the final badge, Carl steps in and confers a grape soda badge, affectionately labeling it the Ellie badge. Later, they sit on a curb in front of an ice cream parlor, with Carl embracing the role of a surrogate grandfather to Russell. Overhead, the spirit of adventure remains anchored. At Paradise Falls, Carl and Ellie's house miraculously lands exactly where it was intended, perched on the cliff overlooking the falls. Up received widespread critical acclaim for its emotional depth, character development, and inventive storytelling. The film's ability to connect with audiences of all ages, explore themes of love and loss, and inspire a sense of adventure has cemented its place as a beloved and memorable entry in Pixar's filmography. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed the content and found it valuable. If you did, we kindly ask you to consider subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you'll become part of our community, gaining access to more exciting videos, informative content, and engaging discussions. It's the best way to stay updated with all our latest releases and be the first to know when we publish something new. Subscribing to our channel is absolutely free, and it helps us tremendously in reaching a wider audience and producing even better content for you. Plus, it shows us that you appreciate what we do, and that means the world to us.